Other food items that you might want to consider would be granola bars, maybe chocolate bars, things like that. You'd probably want maybe Rice Krispies, Pop-Tarts, bags of chips would even work. As long as they're not like fruits that would have to be refrigerated. Meat you most likely wouldn't want, just because you never know how long you're going to be gone. The only way you'd be able to eat that stuff is if you had a house that was well protected, or you went somewhere where you could cook it right away. You wouldn't want to carry around like 10 freaking top sirloin steaks, because by the end of like 2 days, they're going to be gone. They'll be completely bad. So that's the end of food. The next part that you would want most, probably one of the most important places, is you want to decide people that you would want to group. I know people always have this instinct to go on this alone, but no one in the world knows every little single thing. I highly doubt that there's going to be, that you yourself is going to be a doctor who has pharmaceutical training with mad ninja armory cooking hunting skills. It's nearly impossible. What you'd want, there are 6 or 7 most important people that you would want in your team. Number 1, you would want a doctor. Simple as that. You would have to have a doctor. No matter what, you most likely would probably end up getting like a cold, which could end up turning into a flu. Well, with that doctor, they would be able to tell you, hey, you need to let me check you out. Maybe if you get like a cut or something, they can stitch you up or something like that. Second, you'd want a pharmacist. Now, if a zombie apocalypse comes along, probably gonna wipe out pharmacists. And pharmacists are the only people that know how to make a certain pill, how to make an antibiotic, who knows how to treat a fever. And you'd want that. They know all the ingredients that would have to go into that. Third, you would want someone who has not, I wouldn't say military training or anything like that, but that would know armory stuff, like weapons, like guns, like fighting techniques. You'd want someone like that. That way they're able to teach you and prepare you for what you might have to encounter. 4. The fourth person you would most likely want to get someone who knows the environment that you would be going to. That would be sort of like a huntsman or a tracker, things like that. Like hunters are very good at this. If they know where they're going, they can look at the tracks, they can tell where to go if someone's been there, if someone hasn't, if there's been an animal, if it's been a human, if it's been whatever. You'd want one of those. 5. You would probably most likely want someone who knows the biology of the area you're going. Say like an environmentalist or something along those lines. That way, if you were to go out into the wilderness, like the mountains, like the prairies, like any of that stuff, they would know. They'd be able to look at a plant and see if it would be toxic, if you can eat it, if it's medicinal purpose, if it's anything like that. You'd really want that because they would be an asset to your team by allowing you an extra chance to gather more food, gather more medical ingredients that you would need. Number 5, you'd want someone who is really, really, really fast. I know it sounds like I'm probably taking all of these from the show The Walking Dead, and most of it is true. But those people in there don't have all these people. You only have Rick, you have Shane, you have all those. But they're not, that's just one type of person. You don't have everyone in that group. But with the running person, they would be, if you were to run out of something, like maybe bottled water, maybe aspirin, maybe simple things would be along those lines. Maybe like shampoo, Maybe they'd be like a scout, sort of basically. They would be able to tell you if you're going to end up with a horde of zombies, if it looks clear, and all that. They would be able to report back. Number 6, the sixth person you would want it to be someone who understands what's going on around them. You don't want people who are going to freak out, this is probably where it's going to get a little iffy. You basically are saying you don't want people that have children with them. Because if you have a mom and their child goes missing, they're not going to be a good asset to the team. Sure, you would want definitely boys and girls on each team or in your group, but if it has like a 4-year-old, that's another little guy or girl that you're going to have to take care of. And that could possibly get into a little bit of trouble, and you're not always going to be there. Wham, bam, bam, you got a little zombie kid. Simple. I mean, you want to avoid that stuff. So there's the people. Last but not least, we have places. Probably the safest places that you could go. You would want to go somewhere where you know it's not going to attract a lot of people. You would want to avoid the Walmarts. You would want to avoid the Targets. You'd want to avoid the Costco's, the Sam's Club, the King Supers, the Kmart's, the Safeways. You'd want to avoid all those. The best place would be to either go to sporting goods stores like Dick's, Sports Authority, REI, there's multiple other ones. You'd want to go there because A, they have weapons, which you can do. They have those military pre-packed food items, which are non-perishable, so that's a good thing. You would most likely be safe there, depending on who else thought to go there. Also, another place to go would possibly, you would have to wait a while, though, to do this. You would possibly want to go to a mall or an outdoor or like a military kind of base would be the safest, because they are going to have that extra bound of security that the civilians are going to be looking for. And if they get outrun by zombies, well, if there's no one there, the zombies are going to spread out, and there you go. Simple, easy, safe steps. And lastly, but lastly, here are probably five or six simple tips that you're going to want to remember. Number 1, you always want to double check your person. If it's a zombie, you got to hit him twice, whatever. Like Zombieland, double tap that zombie, because he, without a doubt, if you only hit him once, he's most likely going to get up. You got to hit him. You got to hit him hard. Number 2, you would probably want to avoid making much noise. Things like fireworks, gunshots in a rural area where there could possibly be a horde of zombies. You want to avoid that as much as possible. Number 3, you want to travel light. Travel as light as you possibly can. Take maybe a backpack full of food. Have one person from your group, say you have a group of 7, have one person be carrying a bag, or 2 people carrying a bag of food. 2 people carrying water, just water. Maybe you have everyone have something like a board, a knife, a gun, a screwdriver, a hammer, whatever it has to do, some form of protection. Number 4, you are going to want to avoid the dirt roads. Don't go on backcountry. Backcountry is no. If you hit the main highway, like highways and main streets like that, zombies would have already cleared that. So they're not going to go back checking to see all that. Number 5, zombies travel in hordes usually. Usually there's, maybe it's not like 100 or anything like that. Maybe it's like 5 or 6. when you get 5 or 6 of them on you, you're pretty much dead. So stay in the group. Don't be spreading around. Don't be having one person like hike 5 miles up the hill to see, unless it's the runner who can scout, who's fast, who can be like bam, bam, bam. Make it easy. You always want to be close to someone who will have your back. So that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys survive the zombie apocalypse. Take care.